Jump right down to town manager report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the first item to report on for the community is that the swearing-in and pinning ceremony for Chief Thibodeau was held last Friday evening. From all accounts, this was a great ceremony, and many turned out in support of the chief. Chair Nizzolo did a wonderful job emceeing the event, and I thank him for stepping in to lead the ceremonies.
Thank you. Well, I just want to say real quick, it's truly impressive how quickly that event was planned. I think we settled on the date like last week, right? So Jen, the town manager, and Julie, our assistant town manager, planned that entire event in about a week, and it was just absolutely incredible. So truly, thank you so much for making that happen.
Yeah, I'm glad that it was a really special night for the chief.
If I can piggyback on that, I know many of the board members weren't there, but that was not for lack of wanting to be there. Those of us that weren't there did have prior commitments. And as the chair just stated, that was sort of a last-minute thing to allow the chief's family to attend, so please don't interpret that as lack of support from the board.
Yeah, I felt badly that I wasn't here. Probably the first time where we've appointed a chief that I wasn't here, and I wish I would have been. But
Same.
And while I've worked with many chiefs, this was my first appointment ever as of a chief, and I also was not able to attend. But this is a nice segue, because for those in the community who also were not able to attend, PAC was there and they filmed it, and they're right now editing a nice video that'll be put out shortly. The next item is that the state House of Representatives will be beginning debate on the FY26 budget next Monday, April 28th. The House Ways and Means budget released last week recommended funding Chapter 70 at a rate of 6.7% higher than was funded in the last fiscal year, and level funded unrestricted general government aid. With the latest release of the budget, Lunenburg is budgeted to receive a net increase over what we were planning of $124,310. There were increases to Chapter 70, but those were coupled with decreases to charter tuition reimbursements and unrestricted government aid. So at this point, I'm not making any changes. If there's any changes to come, we can handle those in the special town meeting. But for folks who want to do some last-minute advocacy to the state representatives, debate starts next Monday. The Lunenburg Council on Aging will be celebrating Lunenburg's own Charles Sanderson on Monday, May 5th at 1 p.m. at the Lunenburg Adult Activity Center with a presentation of the Boston Post cane and welcoming Charles into the Century Club. Charles is a World War II veteran and a remarkable 101-year-old. Some updates, in addition to the updates from the chair on town meeting. Booklets for town meeting have been mailed to households, and we have several hundred extras that we will disperse around town as well as bring to town meeting. The booklet has also been posted online for folks that would like to view the material on the computer, and I will be having large print versions of the budget available as a handout at town meeting for folks that print is just a little too small. But also, if folks do have access to a computer and they want to look online, they can zoom in. If anybody would like if you're watching this filming of this meeting and you would like a large print version of the budget in advance of town meeting, just reach out to my office and I'm happy to provide you that. The pre-town meeting was held last week with the moderator and town council, and the logistics for town meeting are coming together nicely. This is really an announcement for the community. The school department will once again be selling a limited number of pre-bagged lunches for town meeting. I am going to send out an email to all town officials to reserve a lunch with responses due by May 1st. So board members, please look out for that. If you're a town official, please look out for that. But residents will be able to purchase a lunch first come, first served for $8 from 11 to 1. And there are several options, including vegetarian options. Since the departure of the executive assistant to the town manager and select board, the duty of completing the annual town report has been shifted to the IT administrative assistant. But unfortunately, not all of the submissions had been completely pulled together, and the book has not been sent off to the printer as of yet. Although it is a short week this week, we are hopeful that we can at least complete compiling the book this week, which would mean the annual town report would be available online in advance of town meeting, but hard copies would not likely be back in time for from the printer. Again, though, if anybody I know a lot of folks read different sections of the annual town report in advance of town meeting. If folks would like pieces of the town report in advance to educate themselves on what has happened in the prior fiscal year, please reach out. Happy to get you that information. Project updates. As reported last week, the MassDOT Underwater Bridge Inspection Team has inspected the bridge on Flat Hill Road. They did note additional section loss and recommended that given the documented deterioration, including the newly observed section loss, we are recommending the structure remain closed. Through our town council, we are reaching out to the contractor to see if there can be any interim solution that would allow the bridge to be opened for vehicles up to a certain weight until repairs can be completed. We have updated the town website and social media and truly appreciate the continued patience and understanding of the public. This is not an ideal situation for anybody, and we understand the frustration. Work on the roof and gutter at Ritter Building has been somewhat slow to start. The contract had already been extended through April 30th. Although an additional contract extension is likely needed, we are emphasizing to the contractor that work needs to begin on Ritter currently before we extend it again. So before April 30, we need to see they're there. It did originally get delayed through all the weather
Okay,
on
so I
this
was with the
project.
question. It was weather related. Okay.
Weather related here, but now we were expecting that that job would have started by now. It's not. The kitchen at the Adult Activity Center is nearly complete. The sink does need to be rewelded, and we have a plumber coming to re-weld that sink. That was the most efficient way to do it, rather than order a new sink, all told. And the access control project for town buildings is about 1 month from commencement, as the vendor is waiting for parts to arrive. Current vacancies, the executive assistant to the town manager and select board, 6 candidates were interviewed last week, and all had great skill sets. 3 have been asked to come back for a second round interview, which will be a practical skills assessment. We are confident that we'll have a great candidate who will be able to start in the role before the end of May. In the meantime, I'd like to thank and announce that the IT administrative assistant, assistant town accountant, assistant town manager, and I have all been divvying up various elements of the role. Part-time assistant to the sewer business manager, we are still waiting on some reference checks. And then for our beach staff, the beach director and lifeguard appointments will be likely before you at your next meeting. But we do have folks on board in the queue for those. And if the Conservation Commission position has been reposted for the 10 hours a week for the recording secretary, administrative assistant, and we do have a recording clerk secretary that was initially posted internally only, but now we're going to also be posting that one externally. The vacancies remain the same, but I do want to give one special call out for boards and committees. If anybody is at all interested in the sewer commission, if you have any interest in the sewer commission is desperate for members. They might be sending out another all-resident mailer, but at this point, they are concerned about their ability to proceed as a commission. Right. But that concludes my report.
All right, thank you, Jen. Any questions for the town manager? All right, thank you very much. And